Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Zay News Live, and welcome to this English news edition. Coming up next. Upon holding discussions with his French counterpart, Mr. Lamamra stated that Algeria hopes France will contribute in settling Western Sahara's cause. Plus, the Desert Foxes of Algeria moved a step closer to booking their place at next year's African Cup of Nations after securing an away draw against Ethiopia this afternoon. And later on in our news program, EgyptAir plane hijacker arrested at Cyprus airport and all passengers were freed. Hello there again, and thanks for joining us. First, in our top stories, the French Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Development, Jean-Marc Ayrault, arrived today, Tuesday, in Algiers for a two-day working visit to Algeria. He held talks with his Algerian counterpart, Ramtane Lamamra, to review the progress of all issues on the bilateral agenda and to examine the ways to deepen political dialogue and strengthen relations between the two countries. The Sahrawi cause had its share as well. Mustafa Azzouk.
French Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Development Jean-Marc Ayrault arrived Tuesday in Algiers for a two-day working visit. Upon his arrival in Houari Boumediene International Airport, the head of the French diplomacy was welcomed by the Minister of State, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mr. Ramtane Lamamra. His visit is as part of the bilateral agreement establishing the Algerian-French High-Level Intergovernmental Committee signed between the two nations back in December 2013, which provides for the establishment of a regular political dialogue between the two countries at the level of the Prime Ministers, the Ministers of Foreign Affairs and the Secretaries General. The two counterparts held discussions to review the progress of all issues on the bilateral agenda and to examine the ways to deepen political dialogue and strengthen relations between the two countries. These Sahrawi cause had its share as well, where Mr. Ramtane Lamamra stated that Algeria still has fond hopes that France will really help the region in settling Western Sahara issue within the framework of international legality.
I'm not a historian, but I do not deny that it is one of the main subjects to disagreements between Algeria and France in terms of foreign policy. We believe that France would absolutely play a role that matches its history, its power and its responsibilities by supporting a process that will allow the Maghreb to have a common destiny, with Sahrawi people enjoying their natural right to self-determination. Concerning Western Sahara, France's stance is still the same. We're supporting MONUSMO's mission. Over the past few weeks, we have witnessed the growth of unprecedented tension between Morocco and the United Nations.
For his part, French Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Development Jean-Marc Ayrault said that Algeria and France are linked by a special partnership, at the same time wishing to make progress in various sectors of endeavor.
Prime Minister Abdelmalek Salal received today, Tuesday, Walid Al-Muallim, Syrian's Deputy Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates. The two officials focused on the situation in Syria, tackling Algeria's efforts for a political solution to the crisis by taking into account the interests of Syrian people and in respect of the international legality. The two sides agreed to continue the fight against terrorism and consultation between the two countries on regional and international issue of common interest. The meeting was attended by Minister of Maghreb Affairs, African Union and Arab League Abdelkader Mstahel. During a press conference held today, Tuesday, FLN Secretary General Ammar Sadani revealed that the FLN and other parties meeting for supporting the President Abdelaziz Bouteflika will take place tomorrow, Wednesday, where he also shared his point of view concerning Shakib Khalil's comeback to Algeria and underlined Lexas's position in the Algerian economy. Fatma Mhanni.
The first meeting of Ammar Sadani's politic initiative concerning his support to the president will take place on Wednesday. More than 60 parties, associations, political personalities, all sharing the same goals will attend this event. A goal meant to build a solid front able to immunize Algeria against potential dangers. Meanwhile, at the same time, the opposition parties will reunite in Mazafran. Given to Hamas Sadani concerning Shakib Khalil's comeback in Algeria, he thinks that he has nothing to do with corruption affairs, adding that his man is not an ordinary personality for the country due to his senior status. His protection and his defense does not fall within the scope cleavages. Algeria needs his former energy minister, regardless to the grade that the president will offer him.
Whoever
stated that Shakib Khalil faces an international warrant arrest, he or she has to back his claim with a valid proof. Whoever said that Shakib Khalil was found guilty in Italy, it has proven to be false. All media reports that accused Shakib Khalil in the past were completely false. If he is not appreciated in his home country, certainly the OPEP will gladly to have him back due his senior status.
The FLN Secretary General did not hide his mistrust toward Ahmed Yahya, who is planning to run for the 2019 presidential elections. He criticized his position in the president cabinet, which is only maintained for a conjuncture, according to Sadani. Concerning Laksasi, the Algeria bank governor, Hamas Sadani underlines his current economic situation's responsibility, accusing him for betraying the president Bouteflika, asserting that he should resign.
Why Algerians living abroad have not the right to transfer the money to Algeria and invest them here, just like Moroccans and Tunisians. According to the latest figures, there is 6 million Algerians living abroad. If each one could transfer just €1,000 to Algeria, our economy would not be dependent on hydrocarbons. Who is preventing them from doing so? How could someone like Mr. Laksasi not think about this?
Algeria's future and its fragile economy are certainly going to be the outstanding points that will be addressed in the crucial meeting set to be held on Wednesday.
Speaking from the western province of Shlif, where he appointed a new representative bureau, FCE President Ali Haddad has pledged for the liberalization of private economic institutions to contribute in leveling up the national economy without compromising the public sector to further intensify productivity and profitability. Hence, Minaras.
The Heads of Enterprises Forum announces a three-dimensional equation plan to liven up the national economy, in which the legislative authorities would mobilize to implement catalyst laws for local and foreign investors and public authorities so they could regulate the market, making the economic institution the basis for the Lock West for profitability and productivity.
In order to achieve a strong economy, three bases must be followed. For instance, public authorities would exert their power over the market and legislate laws for the provision of a business atmosphere appealing for investors, be it local or foreign, and create partnership with the latter.
FCE President Ali Haddad, in a meeting with economic operators of the province of Shlif, called for the liberalization of the economic initiative for the private institutions without compromising the major public and strategic complexes that make up the strength of the national economy, stressing that the FCE's main goal remains the cooperation and not monopoly.
We always call for the liberalization of the private initiative, as well as the provision of all necessary measures for the private institutions' growth, since it is an inseparable part of the national economy's development. I can assure that this won't overshadow public institutions. Instead, there will be a total harmony and integration between the two sectors.
Algeria is steadying up to welcome a new economic approach in which the efforts of the administrative and economic authorities intertwine, making the economic institution the sole vision and perspective of the Heads of Enterprises Forum.
Minister of Urban Development, Tourism and Handicraft, Mr. Amar Ghoul, went on a ground inspection visit today to a number of touristic projects, mainly the project of the biggest complex hotel in Africa, Trust Real Estate, a project that will give a boost to tourism in the country. The minister said that some international meetings and agreements are to come in the few upcoming months and will enable investors in tourism to benefit from foreign know-how, adding that there are 3,000 projects to come up in the next few years.
إذا اليوم راح في الميدان ما لا يقل عن 1400.
If today there is more than 1,400 projects in tourism sector and hundreds of projects in the field of urban development,
في مجال تهيئة الإقليم فإننا
so during 2016 we will have more than 3,000 new projects in the field of tourism and urban development.
من 3000 مشروع جديد.
Moving on to world developments, an EgyptAir plane flying from Alexandria to Cairo was hijacked and forced to land in Cyprus today, Tuesday, by a man with what authorities said was a fake suicide belt, who was arrested after giving up himself. Let's follow this report.
It has been a long morning for the passengers of EgyptAir plane MS-181 domestic flight from Alexandria to Cairo. The airplane was hijacked and forced to land in Cyprus' Ankara International Airport. The hijacker claimed he had an explosive belt before taking over the plane. Cyprus authorities identified the hijacker as Egyptian national Saifuddin Mustafa. According to EgyptAir, the Airbus A320 flew this morning to Cyprus port city of Ankara and landed there at around 8 a.m. where negotiations took place. Cypriot president said the hijacking had nothing to do with terrorism.
Doing our utmost in order for everyone to be released in safe and to give an end to this unprecedented. In any case, it's not something which has to do with terrorism.
Media reports shed some dramatic light on the story, claiming that Mustafa had a personal motive. He wanted to deliver a message to his Cypriot ex-wife, while other reports suggest that Mustafa's intentions were merely political after he demanded the release of political prisoners in Egypt. Egypt's civil aviation minister said earlier today that while the passengers were being released, 7 people remained on the plane. 4 of them were cabin crew and 3 were passengers. The minister refused to comment as to why the 7 people remained hostages. Their nationalities were not made public.
At exactly 7:50 a.m., the airplane arrived in Ankara International Airport, and the negotiations started right away. According to our trustworthy sources, the hijacker claimed he had an explosive belt, and we took this seriously to ensure the safety of the passengers. We could confirm there were 7 hostages left on the airplane. 4 of them were cabin crew and 3 were passengers. I can't unveil anything more.
At around 12:45 p.m., a man was seen fleeing the scene from the plane's cockpit window. At the same time, the hostages were leaving the plane via the stairs. Mustafa was arrested shortly after and is now being held for investigation purposes. Everyone on board, including the cabin crew, was released unharmed. This could not have ended better for the passengers after experiencing a terrible morning.
We're back to Algeria now. The Desert Foxes of Algeria moved a step closer to booking their place at next year's African Cup of Nations after securing an away draw against Ethiopia this afternoon. Ethiopian national Kebede opened the score in the 29th minute. However, Islam Slimani cancelled Ethiopia's lead by scoring a header in the 43rd minute. Same player, Kebede grabbed a brace 9 minutes into the second half, leaving Algeria trailing again. Roughly 12 minutes after that, Mandi equalized for the Phoenix. 4 minutes later, Fagado scored for Ethiopia again. 5 minutes before the final whistle, Ghulam converted a successful penalty, bringing the final score to 3-all. And always with national sport, Algerian cyclist Nassim Saidi, riding for AS National Security, won Monday the Algiers International Rally, 10th and last event of the cycling Grand Tour of Algeria. Nassim Saidi won the only victory of an Algerian team at the end of his last event of the GTAC 2016, drawn around the headquarters of the People's National Assembly on a total distance of 64 kilometers. The 58 cyclists representing 11 teams, including 5 Algerian, finished the 40 laps under the admiring gaze of hundreds of spectators who came to encourage the Algerian team seeking a first victory. And finally, life returned back to Ben Aknoun's theme park in the capital, Algiers. This is due to the heavy turnout of Algerian families on the place that was one of their top destinations to enjoy what remains of their spring break on a perfect warm sunny spring day.
After being deserted for years now, here is Benaknoun Amusement Park and Zoo in the capital Algiers, witnessing yet again a heavy turnout of families who came from the four corners of the country to enjoy their spring break.
When spring break is, we have to take the children out to have the break they needed. That's how we reward them for studying hard. Seeing families today is heartwarming after the place was deserted once.
We came all the way from Tizi Ouzou province to have some good time and enjoy the holidays with the kids. Upon coming here, I witnessed a great turnout compared to previous years. Maybe because transport means are more abundant. There is security as well. People are playing and enjoying the greenery.
The bright, sunny weather and greenery on a warm spring day made a beautiful decor out of the park, much to the liking and excitement of children who played and had the fun they were waiting for.
I came to play and have fun. I've done pretty well the trimester, so my parents brought me here. There are so many games and so many people. This place is magnificent. I loved the games, although there are way many people.
This place, amongst many other places and theme parks in Algeria, has always been Algerians' favorite, though nowadays it is spending authorities' concerned attention to ensure the visitors' families' total comfort and security.
And before we wrap up, let's have a reminder of our main top stories. Upon holding discussions with his French counterpart, Mr. Lamamra stated that Algeria hopes France will contribute in settling Western Saharan cause. The Desert Foxes of Algeria moved a step closer to booking their place at next year's African Cup of Nations after securing an away draw against Ethiopia this afternoon. And EgyptAir plane hijacker arrested at Cyprus airport, and all passengers were freed. That's all for me, Nadia Kasmi, and the rest of the team. For more news, visit our website and other social media networks. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.